going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, College Football Playoff. In today's video, I'm going to get you my spread predictions on all four of these big games we got going on starting on Friday. Full transparency, I think it's difficult. I think there's way better angles I've found in terms of breaking up the games into a half or looking at a team total, stuff like that. Just more refined wagers are the way to go in these games based on the matchups. A lot more value in those spots than just simply betting the spread. But hey, I'm going to get you my four best opinions today. We're going to run through these games pretty quick, man. Today's video is going to be pretty short and sweet. Before we get to these four games, do not forget I've already posted my NFL Week 16 predictions for every single game, and there's a new whiteboard winning free pick in that video. You see my record. We cashed another one with Baltimore last week. 21 wins, only 8 losses. Almost a 73% winning percentage season to date up there on the whiteboard. So at the very least, swing by the video here on the channel that I posted yesterday and at least get that whiteboard winning free pick, man. It's a huge mistake not to at least get that wager. And there's a little bit of information about possibly a second go around at the $1,000 to $25,000 ladder challenge here as we finish up 2024. So be sure to check out the NFL video I already posted this week. Let me go ahead and adjust the screen. Here's some local numbers or some recent numbers, whatever you want to say. You guys know the deal by now, man. I just keep winning. It wasn't we didn't set a record last week, but we had some more profit. Hopefully another good week this week. If you want access to all my premium picks out of all these free picks and everything I talk about here on the channel, if you want to know what I actually bet on myself and you want to get those picks for yourself, link in the description. Let me go ahead and share the screen with you guys. I'm going to bring up my Pickett account. We'll go over this data that I usually just read to you guys. Game 1, Indiana, Notre Dame. We're looking at 7s, 7.5. Depends on where you get your line. A total sitting at 50.5 or 51.5, depending on the sports book. Interesting line movement. You can see the data here. Clear as day, some sharp action here on the Indiana side. About 38% of tickets on the spread are on Indiana, but a lot more of the money, about 42%. Very, very interesting. I also want to look at the money line, the movement here. I mean, a couple days ago, you can see you were getting about a plus 265 payout. Now we're looking at 240 or 245. So even the money line has come down a little bit. Clear, sharp action here on the Indiana side. Only about a quarter of bets on the money line have come in on Indiana, almost a third of the money. I like it, man. I like Indiana in this spot. I like them to cover. I don't know if they win, but until we have to see it from Notre Dame. I mean, we have to see them win on the big stage. They always fall flat in this spot. And I think in these games, man, I think it's important that some teams have the pressure and some teams just don't. And I know Indiana looked bad against Ohio State. I was one of the few people on the internet that were all over Indiana being overrated. I'm like, when are they going to come down to earth? They got to get smashed. I bet Ohio State. It was a big bet. I can't remember how big, but it was one of my biggest premium bets for that week. I was all over Ohio State over Indiana. I'm not an Indiana hater. I'm on them here. Give me the points with Indiana. I think they're live. I think they can hang in there with Notre Dame. And I just think that pressure, man, that it's just going to be a quiet stadium. It's going to be tense. And I like the quarterback over there. I like their defense. I like their line of scrimmage. But I just like this underdog role. I like Indiana coming in here, knowing that the Ohio State game, they fell flat in that one. But I think that was a good reset. I think now they come in, no weight on their shoulders. They got a free shot to just have fun and play their best football. I think you could argue that coach is the better coach in this matchup as well. I'm not in love with the Notre Dame coach. So, yeah, guys, I'd be on Indiana here in terms of the spread. I'd take the 7.5 here at minus 113 for that one. It's also very important for you guys to get up-to-date injury reports and weather reports closer to game time. Second game here, SMU, Penn State. Look, SMU really, really concerning. The Clemson game. I really believe there was outside influence to get Clemson, to get that brand into the college football playoff for views. And I think SMU, the lights were bright. I just think it was the perfect spot for Clemson. They were coming in. They needed the game like blood. Their only chance for the playoff is to win that one. And the stars just kind of aligned. I don't want to totally knock SMU for that Clemson game. But at the end of the day, the schedule is soft. Penn State has been hanging in there with Oregon, with Ohio State. You could argue they should have won both games. little bit scared about the defense. Little bit, I get it. Oregon's really, really good, but the defense looked really bad. I mean, it was like asking for a winning lottery ticket to get a stop out of the Penn State defense. There's some dynamic, skilled players on the SMU team. I'm a little bit stunned here that they're getting this many points, that it's north of a touchdown. You see all this money on the over. I mean, 88% of the money so far this week has come in on the over. I hate to be on a side that's that public, but I think I agree. I think I agree on the over. The spread, there's a little bit of sharp action on SMU here. Only about 42% of bets against the spread have come in on SMU, but about 46% of the money. So the betting splits look good for SMU here. Obviously, the money line's pretty one-sided. Not a whole lot of movement here early in the week, but the spread's going up. Will it get to 10? I think that's the big factor. I mean, if you like SMU, just wait. I mean, there's a lot of Penn State money coming in. The game's at Penn State, but not having this a night game, I think that hurts. I think you could probably make a 3-point difference on the spread if this was a night game versus a noon game. So I think that helps SMU. I don't know. Another one of these teams, man, they shouldn't feel any pressure. They should come in here, play hard. Maybe it's a backdoor cover, but this Penn State team right now, I mean, even like the Cal game or UCLA, Bowling Green at home was sketchy for a while. I was personally at the West Virginia game, which had a really impressive final score, but it really was a pretty competitive game. And we all know West Virginia didn't really pan out to be a great team this year. Pretty mediocre at best. It seems like a lot of points. And I do think Penn State takes care of business, but I think this game is more difficult for Penn State than Boise State. I think if they win this game, I think I'd lay anything under 2 full touchdowns with Penn State versus Boise. So interesting way to look with that one, but that's the way I'd go, man. I think I like SMU. Just would like to see it get to double digits. Clemson Tigers, interesting. Very, very interesting. So, look, this might be a public side. This one might look obvious. This is a square public, just run-of-the-mill pick. Give me Texas. Clemson should not be here. Clemson's not good. They got waxed by Louisville at home. The stars just aligned for that SMU game. I mean, if it wasn't for Syracuse knocking off Miami, Clemson would not have even had that title opportunity for the ACC. I'm not going to let one game change my opinion of a whole season, right? I like to look at sample size. I like to build my sample size. I get sharper as the season goes on in all sports. I'm not buying it, man. One good get right game and in just a total like underdog, you get your free chance type of a shot with Clemson there. That was the perfect game versus an SMU team who you could argue has a soft schedule. I'm not buying it. I don't like the way Clemson looked at home against Louisville. They could barely score on South Carolina. I think you could argue Texas's defense is better than that. I don't see him scoring a lot. The game's in Texas, and I think the game against Georgia, it was just a total wake-up call for Texas. I see no mercy here. I think Texas gets off to a decent start. I think the defense plays good. They play fast. They play strong. They win in the trenches. I think they're more physical. I think they have better skill position. I still believe they have better quarterback. I think we get good quarterback play out of Texas here. I like their running backs. I like everything about Texas, man. I get it. Their schedule's not that good either, but yeah, I mean it's under 2 touchdowns. I'll lay the points with Texas here. I think they win this game comfortably, and due to what's happened with the Georgia games and some of these tighter games, even that Kentucky game was like a little bit tense for Texas there for a little bit. It was kind of looking sketchy towards the end. I watched the whole thing and actually cashed a ticket with Kentucky against the spread versus Texas in that one. I just think they've learned. I think Sark's going to have the players with the right mindset. I think if they get a lead, they're just going to keep their foot on the gas. I see no mercy here. So it's either Clemson's competitive right from the start, and this thing's just going to be a dogfight start to finish with no team being up by more than 1 possession for the whole entire game. I don't think so. I think start to finish, Texas takes control. I think Clemson will be a popular pick because it's the biggest spread out of the 4 games. I'm not buying it. Give me Texas, man. I'll lay it. Final game here, Tennessee, Ohio State. Betting splits, interesting. A little bit of a public dog here with Tennessee. Tennessee's pretty popular. 55.6% of bets against the spread on Tennessee, about 58% of the money. That looks okay. It'll be interesting with this money coming in, and if more money does continue to come in on the Tennessee side, I'd like to see like this 7.5 just go away. If you're looking to bet the Volunteers and you take that 7.5 today, you would love to see this line close with no 7.5s available, maybe some 6.5s on the board. I think Tennessee's the right side. I think there's a lot of variance in a game like this, and I have a huge question mark about Tennessee's ability to score. So that's tough. That's tough. But I'll tell you what, man, they can match up with Ohio State in the trenches. They can run the football. And we all know that dead silent, tense, oohing and ahhing feeling from the crowd at the shoe, man, at Ohio State. This is a home game. If they get off to a bad start, you can just start to feel the energy drop out of the stadium. I think that's a huge concern. I think a good first half is critical for Tennessee. I do think if Ohio State can establish, a 2-possession lead at some point in this game, that Tennessee will just never be able to recover from that. So Tennessee's got to start fast. They got to start strong. They got to be in this game from the get-go. If they do that, I think they're live to win this game outright. It's hard to believe that out of the first 4 games, there's not going to be at least one upset. What do I like the best? I don't know. Maybe Indiana, maybe Tennessee, maybe SMU if Penn State's defense can't wake up and they get caught sleeping on a home game because it's noontime. Look, I don't know. I just think this is a lot of points with a team that has an exceptional defense. I don't like the way Ohio State deals with pressure. I don't like it. I think Tennessee's coming in here playing the underdog role. They don't have the weight on their shoulders. They're going to come in. They're going to play hard. I like the coach. I like the energy of the team. Again, concerned with their offense. You got to be able to score to beat Ohio State. We'll see what happens, but I think I would take 7.5 right now. I'd be surprised if that was still available come start of the game here for this one. So interesting, guys. Again, if you want the link to pick it, if you guys want to have this data available on all games, all sports, there's a link to pick it right in the description of this video. You can go down, sign up with my code down there, and you'll get a free $3 to $100. I mean, it's a random drawing, but if you sign up, it's totally free to download. You guys can get this on your phone. It's a free app. Download it. You'll have access to this data and chance to get a couple of bucks too, just from signing up for the app. So consider that. Link again in the description. I think that's it. That's all I got, guys. College football playoff predictions. Like I said, there's a lot better angles. Divide these games in halves. Look at team totals. Look at certain things that you can really refine and just have a much smaller checklist in terms of finding value on certain plays. Those are the plays that I'm going to bet. I'm probably not going to bet. I don't even know if I'm going to be touching these games in terms of spreads and totals. I'll probably have some more refined wagers. So those are the ones I'm going to bet. Those are the ones I'll send to the client list. Again, if you want access to all my picks, link in the description. See you in the next video.